Alrighty, there we are. Hello, welcome back to Bald and Board Games. I'm Bald. Well, sort of today. I'm a little fuzzy right now. It's been a very busy week, but you'll see I'm by myself again, bored. This is his last day. For him, it may have already been the last day, but he's in Japan still. So I get to play solo games. So I am playing Spire's End, Rangitaki by I always want to say like Farvo by Favreau Venture LLC, I think technically. All right, so let's go to the table here. See what we have going on. So I have it all set up, ready to go. So if you don't know what the Spire's End games are, they are solo games entirely. Let me make sure perfect's on screen. Good deal. Too much bald in this video. Yes, there we are, board. I assumed you'd be sleeping, getting ready to hop on your plane back. So Spire's End is a solo game. So because board is away, I get to play solo games. Who knows what we're going to do for May? Maybe May I'll trick him into doing an entire month of solo games finally, since we're starting off May with one. We'll see. But this is very simple. All the Spire's End games are very simple to jump into, but they are a lot of fun. So you have this big deck of cards here, and we will probably see potentially half of them. So at its core, this is a choose your own adventure style game, but instead of having a big book, you have these tarot-sized story cards. So you will be having encounters with enemies, which is not new to Spire's End, but the way it's done is new. So here we have an actual board, which adds a strategic element to the game, which you'll see very quickly. I think an encounter comes up very quickly, but there's little branching pathways based on if you succeed at those encounters or battles. There's also branching pathways for just story moments where you choose this or that. So this one is very kind of RPG-y. We're going to have a health. We're going to have a storage, like an inventory and stuff. And yes, we're going to be jumping into it here. No, it's noon here, just hanging at the airport. Perfect. So yeah, you're getting ready to come, I guess. That makes sense. Get ready to fly back. So you will see here, I have these cards, the High Tide cards here. So this is from the Salt and Sea micro expansion that came. You can buy it, but I got it initially with the Kickstarter when this came through. So those added a number of cards to the various chapters. There are 3 chapters so far to Spire's End Rangitaki. So right now for this one, this added some new enemies into the deck. And that's really all it did for chapter 1. Most of the rest are used in chapter 2, except for these playfield markers, which will go on the board instead of these little black markers. All right, so we're going to jump right in. If you're curious how to play Spire's End, I did do a rulebook rundown yesterday. I recorded that, so we will have that up as well on YouTube at some point. If you're watching this on YouTube now, then that should already be up for you to go watch. And we did do an unboxing of this a while ago, so that's already on YouTube, ready to go. But Board will have his work cut out for him when he does get back from Japan. I think there's going to be about 10 videos or so to get set up and ready to go, and a bunch of those have a crap ton of chapters, so be ready, Board. Okay, we get a little bit of this elixir first and we'll get cracking. Alrighty, so you start off with the top card. Simple as that. And it says, early this morning you were rushed into the home of Seer Mokai. You sit silently now and watch her work. She waves an unsteady 4-fingered hand over a cauldron filled with a dark, swirling liquid. It's ready, she says at last. Mokai opens her mouth and heaves. Her tongue curls out over her lower lip as her throat bulges upward. The seer reaches inside and pulls out a small knife, followed by dripping cords of foul black ichor. She extends the knife to you. Finger or toe? So now actually at the bottom here, we have to choose. This first says pull cards 83, 84, and 85. So pull means you're going to literally grab this deck, find those cards, pull them out, and then go back to your main story card. And so these are all numbered. So you're never going to shuffle this deck. So it says to pull 83, 84, and 85. And I guess I read this on the rulebook rundown, but for you all, I'll go through what the story is for this. So we have the Age of Bedlam. Amidst the vast expanse of ocean, there were three islands, Mokana, Pukea, and Ruki, isolated within an encircling atoll. Each of these islands was governed by a family. Together, they formed an intrepidant alliance, relying on one another for resources, trade, travel, and the forging of familial bonds. However, this harmony teetered precariously, its foundation weakened by the island's isolation from the outside world and their reliance on each other. This alliance was eventually broken by events on the largest and most unforgiving island of the trio, Pokea. A sequence of volcanic eruptions spewing forth sulfuric gases and scorching hot springs poisoned the land. Rendered incapable of cultivation and besieged by formidable predators, the people of Pukea found themselves forced to seek sanctuary on the remaining two isles. Mokana opened its arms to receive the dispossessed. Ruki, however, did not. What followed was a time of feudal strife as the families clashed in a bitter war for dominance. During this time, the three seers, each from one of the three respective families, exhausted their knowledge of dark magic to overpower one another. Ravina, the seer of Ruki Isle, stumbled upon a haunting revelation that could pass on a macabre gift reserved solely for the seers, the dark sight. An unparalleled force that allowed one to commune with the dead and wield their ethereal energies. She could bestow a fragment of this power upon anyone she chose. Yet, this frail and unrefined manifestation of the dark sight carried a heavy cost. The sole method of transmitting and maintaining this ability was through the consumption of human flesh. Consuming the living was the gateway to the dead. The practice poisoned the minds of the people of Ruki Isle, sending them into an abyss of madness. All right, so we got cannibalism. Who doesn't love a good cannibalism story? So we have these three feuding islands. One has just gone straight into cannibalism. Maybe the rest, who knows? All we know right now is we have to choose finger or toe in a moment. So first, let's pull these cards. So we have 83, which is Rangitaki. This is who we are. So we get 7 action points. Action points are essentially what's used to, well, do actions. So we're going to put her, we'll put her in the middle. And then we will put her action points down the side. That's 5, 6, and 7. I'm going to do this action. I'm going to do 4. Boom. So I think we actually put her health above her. Okay. So she starts off with the 3 health. Well, more than 3 health. 3 health cubes. As you take damage, you will turn this down to the 2, down to the 1, down to 0. If you take more damage, you go to the next one, and then the next one. And if this one ever gets to 0, you die. These games are easy to learn. They are by no means easy to get through. I have lost many times in both. 84. These are our talents. So talents, physical, mental, critical, are going to help you with skill checks. So like I said, very RPG-y. There are skill checks in this where you'll see them on some of the cards. It'll be color-coded to orange, blue, or black. That means that you will roll an orange, blue, or black die to try and complete the skill check. You can, if you have any kind of marker on these, like if you had an orange marker on physical, then that would add, I believe, +1 to the die that you rolled. It says right here, increase your chance of success. I just went through this yesterday, so bear with me. Whenever you face a challenge, it'll be indicated by the color, correct? So if you have any talent points of the same type of the current challenge you face, they will influence the result. Add these talent points to your roll to increase your chance of success. So yeah, so 1 talent point adds 1 to your roll. You can also use action points to add 1 to your roll, which we will see on a card in a moment here. So then 85 is your satchel. So this is where you carry a bunch of other various items. So you have your breadfruit, your uku, and your Aberhern. Is there actually on the back side of this? There is not a reference card. That would have been handy to have. So it tells us in here though. So the breadfruit heals 1 wound. The Uku gains 1 action point, which is these, and the Aberhern heals 3 wounds. Okay, so 1 wound, 3 wounds, gain action points. Got it. Let's say gain 1 action point. Yeah. And you have to use those. So you would put one of these markers on there when you collect one, and then you would take that off when it is used. These are not used. You just have them. And yeah, not pulling a board to go to the rule book to discover a sneaky way to try and win by reading between the lines. Go to the rule book to make sure I play it correctly. So doing a bald and board, I believe. I think Spire's End was the first rulebook rundown where there was no, yeah, but what about this? And then it explained it to us immediately afterwards. I did that over and over again in the Myth1 rulebook rundowns. And it's just, yeah, it was hilarious. It's literally like the next sentence in a bunch of those. So we have our satchel items now. So now we have our 3 cards that we pulled. We're going to go back and we have to choose to refuse, choose a finger, or a toe. Ooh. Board, we have you on right now. What would you choose? Would you choose to refuse, or would you choose to give up a finger or give up a toe? Give him a second here and see if he makes a choice. We'll see if we can pull in closer. There you go. So that's our 3 options here. Boom, boom, boom. Refuse, finger, or toe. We don't know the consequence yet. Give him another second to choose. If he doesn't, then I'm going to choose. Refuse. Okay. So refuse says we're pulling card number 2. So this is going to go to the discard over here. Card number 2 is the next card. Okay. Which has a finger. Is that the right one? Yep, it's 2. It says, what? Mine? I choose to keep all my limbs. You assert resolutely. If you refuse, you shall be eaten alive before the sun sets. Eaten? Those are just rumors, right? Mokai's gaze pierces through your disbelief. Her voice an ominous whisper. It's happening as we speak, just outside this very door. Anguished screams from outside reach your ears, causing your heart to sink. Nobody would heed my warnings, not even you. It was just a matter of time, and our time has run out. Mokai raises the knife. Hold still, place your finger on the altar and watch closely. You must bear witness for this to work properly. Whatever you do, don't look away. Without hesitation, she slashes unsteadily at your finger. Pressure and pain sing in unison as the severed digit tumbles off the altar. So we have to take 1 wound. There's a lot, board. Alrighty, and then what just happened? So now we're going to pull card number 7. So that means all of these, 3, 4, 5, and 6, we are not going to see. So I'm going to put these off to the side over here. We go right to card number 7. The color drains from your face as you stare at your severed limb, drawing a trail of blood along the floor. Mokai raises a blazing red stone from the fire beneath the cauldron and dips it into a mortar of black powder. Remain still, she instructs before forcefully thrusting the searing stone into your wound, causing the flesh to sizzle. The pain is agonizing, but it swiftly dissipates. Mokai picks up your lost appendage and tosses it into the cauldron. She stirs the brew in long, sweeping motions while chanting soft, indiscernible words. Beyond the giant skull and thatched hut walls, the sounds of war intensify. She dips an aged wooden spoon in the warm, opaque liquid and extends it towards you. Drink it, she urges. So we have yes or no. I'm going to say yes on this one, so we're going to go right to card number 9. So we're skipping 8, going to 9. Parting ways. As the warm liquid glides down your throat, a peculiar sensation engulfs you. Suddenly, a dark screen of smoke rises into your vision, casting a shadow over the vibrant colors of the world. You can now communicate with Tutupo. He will provide ammunition and guidance for your escape. Tutupo? How? You grab the small, dried head tied around your neck and look into its sunken face. Fed you from his mouth, Tutupo will summon your blowgun darts from the eternal plains. However, even with Tutupo's assistance, do not anticipate effortless kills. Sierra Vina has used her witchcraft to ensnare the people of Ruka Island and turned them into ravenous animals. They are brutal, relentless, and consume the living in a desperate attempt to gain the dark sight for themselves. Tutupo's darts may not even be enough to kill them, but they will slow them down. She continues, Now, it's time for you to leave. I must stay behind, entombed here in life and death. All right, so we gain 1 breadfruit. Cool, that'll help us heal a wound. And if you lost your toe, pull card 86. If you lost your finger, pull card 87. So again, pull just means that we're taking it out. So 87, because we ended up losing our finger. All right, so that is our encounter actions reference card. So here, and I'll pull in close so you guys can see. All righty. It's on. Oh, good enough. Better than what it was. All right, so we have our dark chart at the top here, which gives our cost, our damage, our targets, and our critical hit miss. So essentially, what this means by cost, we have to spend 3 of these action tokens when we want to use that card, or use that attack. It'll do 1 damage. It will hit 1 target, and then we have to roll for crit or miss. So I believe if we don't roll our proper score, which on our card it's a 20/5, so 5 or below is a miss, 20 is a crit. Yeah, so if we get a 5 or below, then we straight up just miss the attack entirely. If we get between, if we get a 19 through a 6, it's a regular hit, which will do the 1 damage. If we get a 20, it'll be critical, and we will deal an additional damage. Now, what we can also do before we roll for a crit or miss is we can also use 2 more action points to add the stun effect to the dart shot. It doesn't cause any damage. You don't have to roll to see if this one is a hit or miss. So if the main shot hits, it will stun them. And stun, is that listed on here what it does? I believe it just makes so the other enemy can't move. Let's find out. Go into the rulebook. Stun, 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 stun. Where you want? Where are we? Nope. Here we are. Stun is somewhere. Skills, no. Here. Crit. Where to talk about stun? There you go, stun. Yeah, so your chosen target can't move for 1 round. They can still attack, they just can't move to attack you. So that could be helpful to keep enemies from repositioning on the board, because line of sight is a thing in this. And then down here we also have, let's go, so lob, so dart shot over line of sight. So that would allow you to hit someone by going over another enemy. dodge, so you can dodge 1 wound. You have to play 2 action points before your enemy attacks to say you're going to dodge on your turn. Then 1 action point to heal a wound, 1 action point to influence, so to add or subtract 1 to any roll. So I do believe, so for lob, you'd have to play, so stun and lob must be combined with dart shot. Yes, you have to play the 1 at the same time you use the attack. So you could potentially use dart shot, stun, and lob all in one go, spending 6 action points to hit somebody who is on the other side of some sort of thing. Then movement here, which is what the step is, costs 1 action point to move 1 space, and you'll be on this actual board. So moving is orthogonally, or as Board would say, orthonologically, because he's a scientist. Okay. So we're going to have this. Actually, I don't want to put this. I want to do it here. This is our action inventory. So I'm actually going to put this next to our action tokens. Let me pull out here so you can see what I'm doing. I'll put the action tokens at the top of this card. So I have all of those. Nope, still don't like that. We are still going to do what we were just doing. Down the side. But I'm going to have them next to, in between the 2 characters. There we go. OCD kicking in hard. All right. That makes sense to me. Makes sense to you? Good. Okay. So we got that card, and we go to I will listen to Tutupo. So I'm going to go card number 10. And we have 10. Las Macana. You dash outside into a wall of hot embers and crackling fire. The Rookie look like featureless shadows in the thick smoke, mercilessly cutting down everyone in sight. The lifeless bodies of their victims dragged into grotesque piles. As you wipe your stinging eyes, a towering Rookie emerges from the billowing smoke, blocking your path. I'm not sure I can do about this. I would say, I'm not sure I can do this. Pull 11. I can read. Shut up. All right. So Nalud and the Rookie. So character placement, duration is 3 rounds. So you don't necessarily have to defeat all the enemies in 3 rounds. You do have to survive for at least 3 rounds. There is oftentimes extra bonuses if you do defeat all of your enemies. Or at least one of them. Okay. So character placement. It says to place Rangitaki in space number 3. So that's space 3. It's labeled. Boom. And there's always a grid on here that shows you nothing will go here or here. Where Rangitaki starts, where other enemies could start are in black, and then where one of the main enemies will start. Okay, so pull card 12 and place it on space 8. That's 12. On space 8. Nalu. All right. And pull 2 enemy cards and roll a d12 for placement. So we have our enemy deck here. I'm going to shuffle that up. We do have the salt and sea enemies added in here. So see what happens. It looks like we got 1. And we're not going to do 2 salt and sea. We're going to mix this up a little bit. Come on. And 2. All right, we have to roll a d12 to see where they go. So we'll start with salt and sea. Is going on 6. Can you go on 6? Yes, you can. So we're going to go right there. It's a bada boom. And you are going on to 10. Right? Oh my goodness, it's a Mai Tai. 2 parrots. Okay. Now, enemies cannot start on spaces 2 and 4. Cool. When an enemy from the enemy deck is defeated, always return it to the deck unless instructed not to. Since Nalu is on a story card, he is not considered part of the enemy deck and is removed from the game after the encounter is over. Cool. So we're going to place 1 terrain card. So we're going to roll a d12 for placement. That's these here. So whatever this one is. Cursed Bones, and you're going onto 8, which you cannot. So for this, you do the 50-50 rule. You place it on whichever one's closest to Rangitaki. They are even. So here's where you would assign an even or odd to these. So we'll do 7s are even, 9s are odds. And we got 6. So it's going to go right there. Okay. So the Cursed Bones. So those, when you're adjacent, you can do physical challenges, which could bear you something or not. So then we have a special rule with this encounter. It says if you have the Precious Time Lost event, nope. Okay. Then lose 1 action point on round 1 and discard card 8. We do not, and we did not. So then it says here, if you survive, you'll continue on to 14. So this will go off to the side for now, because we need to get through this battle before we continue. So I'm going to put this right there. Okay, so we always go first. We do have to use our action discs down here, our action tokens, to do actions. So let's see here. So for Bada Boom, they have Bird Blast. When defeated, inflict 2 wounds. Stupid. Inflict 2 wounds to all adjacent characters. Execute a crit/miss roll on targets. Wow. They can fly. So Bada Boom can move over characters and terrain. So they can literally fly over characters, where most cannot. The swirly here means when you defeat them, you will get that many action points. You get 1, 3. They give me 3 as well. On the card, this details how they attack. That's their health. They have 3 health. Attacking, so they attack orthologically. Orthogonally, Jesus. They can move 3, and then their crit miss is 18-5. For Nalu, he has Bolster. So Nalu's attacks inflict an additional wound each round. Yikes. Then there's a physical challenge associated. The requirement is once you defeat Nalu, you can attempt that physical challenge. And if you succeed, there's a thing. And then the physical challenge, of course, I don't actually have that on physical. That'd be cheating. And then we have Mai Tai over here. So same attack patterns as that one. Only can move 2, though. Their critical needs at least a 19 to hit a crit. Their health is 2, but they give you 3 action points. So that's great. Bird Boom, so same thing. It's going to inflict 1 wound instead of 2 wounds to all adjacent characters, executing a crit miss roll on targets. And then it can also fly. Okay. For Cursed Bones, it has a physical challenge of 10. Requirement, if I'm adjacent to it, I can attempt that. Then if I succeed, any enemies adjacent to the Cursed Bones get poison. Nice. That is awesome. Oh, still streaming? Why did you crash? Come back. Sorry, my Twitch off to the side here is being dumb. We're still going, though. It's good. Yeah, organically. Thank you, board. Sorry, I lost you for a second on the tablet. All right. And we're back. Okay, let's get cracking. So they can move 2. No one has a range attack, which is good. Everyone has to be next to me to hit me. So if I can take Mai Tai out, that would be best. Because then I would get 3 back, and I could potentially do some more actions. So it would cost me. I have to be in this for line of sight, line of attack. So line of attack is the first thing that you would need for range. So there's 8 lines of attack. So if you're in the middle, so it's up, down, left, right, and the diagonal directions for lines of attack. So if you're here, you can't attack over here, obviously. And then you need line of sight, right? So line of sight cannot be traced through enemies unless you're using the lob in addition. So here I don't have line of sight here, but if I move over 1, I could. But really, I can move over 2. I don't want to move over 2, just use 2 action points. I want to move over 1 to start. So I'm going to use an action point. So I'm just going to flip this to the X side to go over 1. And then I'm going to use 1, 2, and 3 to attack. And so here I have to roll for my crit miss. And I believe I'm rolling the black die. There we go. Let's see. An 8. So I can't increase that to a 20. So I did 1 damage on Mai Tai. So Mai Tai has 1 damage right now. I think I'm gonna do it again. So I'm gonna go 1, 2, and 3 to attack. Again, risking that damage that's mostly going to come from Nalu here, just so I can take out at least 1 person here. And 8 again. So Mai Tai is gone. Took the 2 damage. Goodbye. I get the 3 action points though back. So 1, 2, and 3. So I can move 1 away using 1 action point, but that won't really do much because he has 1 movement. So you could still get within range since he attacks all the way around wherever he is. So I might as well. Let's see. What do you have? 1, 2, 3. That is good though, because they wouldn't be able to get next to me then. Okay, so I'm going to use 1 to move away. So that way he can't get next to me because he's going to go first because he's on the lower number on the board. And then I'm going to use 2 to dodge whichever attack ends up coming next. Okay. So now my turn's done. The 7 points that I have here will refresh. Actually, I do have a mental point because of this. Cool. The 7 action points will refresh at the end of the round. So right now, I have no additional action points to use. So Bada Boom's going to go first. So Bada Boom can move 3. So Bada Boom is going to go. So you could go 1, 2, 3 to get here. Could go 1, 2, 3 to get here. The characters are always going to try and get as close as possible, even if they won't be able to attack, to Rangitaki. So Bada Boom will end up flying over the terrain. 1, 2, 3 to go right there. But Bada Boom cannot attack me since he only attacks orthogonally. So I am safe there. Which also protects me from Nalu, because now Nalu can't move over that 1 space, but Nalu will move closer to me, so he's going to come down by 1. And then that is the end of the round. So then all the action points will reset to my 7, which is great. So I can... I'm going to attack twice. And if I get a critical, then I'll damage. This has to be done in 3 rounds, so I'll keep track of the rounds at the top here. 1, 2, 3. So we've gone through 1 complete round so far. So I kind of want to come back this way and defeat. I want to defeat him for sure. Oh, when the previous Bada Boom exploded, it would have hurt adjacent characters, but I wasn't adjacent to it at the time, so that's fine. Because he was here. Okay, so I'm going to attack Nalu. So 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to use Stun to prevent Nalu from moving next turn. So here's my crit miss. 20. Critical hit. All right, so that's going to be 2 damage to Nalu. And he is stunned. So I'll just put this on him, showing that he can't move on his turn, which means he won't be able to attack me again. Awesome. Okay. I am going to put down my 2 here to potentially dodge, because I don't want to get hit by Bada Boom's attack. And it is their turn. So now Nalu cannot move because he's stunned. And Nalu also cannot attack, which is great. So Bada Boom, though, can move and will move. The 1, actually, there's an equal, so they would choose where to move. We have to do the random thing here. So we're going to go with 10s or odds, 4s or evens. 10s or odds. Okay, and Bada Boom is going to try and attack me. Okay. So now Bada Boom has to roll 20, so it would be a critical. So I now have to try to dodge. Things right to dodge. Oh. Dodge 1 wound. So I think the critical would still hit me. Yeah. Just fine. 1's better than 2. All right. Crit miss. So I roll 5 or lower, I don't dodge. And of course I rolled a 4. So I don't dodge. Nice. So I take 2 damage. So that one's down to 0. And refresh. And that's 2. Man, of course I didn't dodge. Ridiculous. Audio still good? Okay. Got PTSD from our audio stopping working. Haven't even been near the control pad, but even still. Okay, so Rangitaki is not in a great position, but also kind of is. So I'm going to attack Nalu using 3 to start. I'm not going to use stun because if I get a critical, he's dead. So here we go. A 6 is not a critical. So he takes 1 damage. Okay. I gotta try and take him out. And I'm gonna use the extra to. Now if I miss, I don't stun him, so I might as well not use the extra. So 1, 2, and 3. Save the extra 1 for an influence. Just make sure I hit him. And that's why. So using that other one to influence to turn this 5 into a 6, which means he is dead. Okay. Physical challenge. So requirement, defeat Nalu. So then I get a physical challenge of 9. I'm doing it. Of course, I got a 3. That's a failure. Great. Nalu is gone. Yeah. Defeating him, I got 3 action tokens back. The 3 plus my 3 wouldn't have gotten me to a 9, so failure regardless. I'm going to use one of my influences to heal 1. And then my next 2... Oh, actually, I have 3. I want to go attempt the physical challenge with the Cursed Bones. So I'm going to use all 3 to go 1, 2, 3 to the Cursed Bones, and let's attempt this physical challenge. Need a 10. Yeah. Nick roll count 1 for sure. And a 6 is not a 10. All right. Failed that one also. Cool. Bada Boom goes. Bada Boom can move 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Yep. 1, 2, 3. Ugh. And Bada Boom will be attacking me. A 9 is a hit. It's not a critical, but that drops me down to 2 there. And that is the end of the scenario. So I did survive. I did not pass the physical challenge of defeating Nalu, so I have no idea what that pull card would have been. But if you survive, we're going to pull card number 14. So 13 we are not going to see. 14 will be the next one, which we're going to put all these guys back, clean off the board. Boom. Nalu is officially done, out of the game. You're discarded. And 14. For the moment, your enemies are incapacitated, enough for you to make your escape. Your action points reset. It has increased to 8. Reset now. Add survived Nalu to your event inventory. All right, so I get an additional action point. So now I have 8, and they all reset, which is good. So you can heal outside of battle as well, but that means you go into battle with less health, or with fewer action points to start. So I don't know if I necessarily want to do that yet. So I need to find the add survived Nilou to your event inventory, which is on the bottom of this card here. Okay. You look at the coast. It's the quickest way off the island, but it's sure to be overrun by rookie raiders. To your right, a thick mist hugs the emerald peak of Mount Matuna and its base. A narrow trail follows a steep incline to the cliffs on the opposite side. It's a dangerous climb, but it's successful. It could provide an alternate route to the Tukutu gondola, which can take you safely off the island to Coral Cove. Roll all 3 challenge dice, it says. Doesn't your token on the right card heal 1? Yeah, that can heal me 1 if I wanted to. So I'm just kind of seeing, since this is the beginning, like first scenario, sometimes in RPGs, they do the whole like, okay, return yourself to full health and continue. So I want to kind of ride that out before I see what happens. But so here we go. So rolling all 3 challenge dice. Okay. It says if at least 1 roll is 10 or higher. Yes, 2 of them are. Then I would gain 1 breadfruit. If at least 2 rolls are 15 or higher. No, only 1. If all 3 rolls are 15 or higher, blah, blah, blah. So I gain a breadfruit. Another 1. The max I can hold is 5. So we got that. Cool. You can only claim 1 challenge reward. Okay, did that. Reminder, be sure to add your talent points to the appropriate die roll. It wouldn't help. That would have been 18. Okay. And then I get to choose if I want to go to the beach or to the cliffs. Health dice 3. Yep, cool. All right. So that's going to go right under here. Just like that. So to the beach or the cliffs board, where would you like to go? And I will use 1 of these to heal now that I have an extra 1 to put me at 3 there. I'm going to use 2 action points to get me up to the 2 at least there. Start off with 6, that's fine. Beach, all right. Going to the beach, that makes sense for you. So I'm going to pull action card 15 now. So we're on 15. There we are. To the beach. Towering corpses. You manage to make your way to the beach unnoticed, but you're exposed, and the fighting grows closer. A long berm of scraps, driftwood, and small boulders stretches the length of the shoreline. If you can reach it, there's a chance you can maneuver unseen to the dunes on the opposite side of the beach. The surf looks rough, and the rip tides can be merciless, but swimming might be your best means of escape. Whap! A rogue arrow pierces the sand. Your cue to get moving. You sprint to the closest cover, the rotting carcasses of the great king eel. It towers above you, with an elongated body stretching hundreds of paces across the beach. Fishermen have hacked away an opening in the side of the creature large enough for you to squeeze through. Hurried footsteps head in your direction. You could try and escape into the giant eel carcass, sprint for the driftwood as cover, or head into the surf and try to swim to the other side of the beach. Oof. Escape into... Let's go into the giant rotting eel. Number 19. So we're skipping 16, 17, 18, and we're going into 19. Escaping into the giant rotting eel. Eel anatomy. You step cautiously, allowing your eyes to adjust to the darkness. With every stride, your feet sink heavily into its wet, gelatinous underbelly. Small holes in its exterior allow tiny beams of light to bounce along the inner walls of the beast, illuminating its slimy interior. You make out something large in the distance, an obstacle of some sort. Your knowledge of king eel anatomy is foggy, but your guess is that it's an organ or a gland. The fleshy pear-shaped sac appears to be filled with fluid. You're at a dead end unless you can somehow cut through it. It looks as if someone had already considered this. A bone machete is lying near the fleshy obstruction. You wonder what changed their mind as you picked it up. The organic roadblock is secured to the roof of the eel's inner lining with 3 fibrous tendrils. You could hack through them, which could drop the sac to the floor. or cut into it in hopes of draining it so you can get by. You grimace and raise the machete above your head. So add the bone machete to your inventory. Nice. So that gives us a physical point. Awesome. All right. So we can stab the sack or slash the tendrils. Yikes. Like, what if the sack is like venomous, like alien, and it just like kills us, or it drains on top of us. But then like tendons, if you try to cut tendons in a chicken, are incredibly difficult to cut. We may not be able to cut them in time, but that might block the path so no one can follow if they did run into the eel as well. I'm gonna try and slash the tendrils. 22. Here we go. That's 20, 21, 22. Bladder burst. The blade of your machete vibrates painfully in your hand as it glances off one of the tendrils. This is going to be harder than you thought. Annoyed, you grip the machete with both hands and furiously hack away at its sinewy fibers. The first tendril gives way, and the fleshy bladder shudders violently. You take a moment to catch your breath, but the noxious stench is making you dizzy. You attack the second tendril. There's a loud snap. The tendril breaks loose, sending the object swinging straight at you. You dive out of the way, landing softly on whatever been stepping in. The remaining fibers snap one by one, sending it crashing to the floor. The impact causes a rupture that sprays viscous yellow liquid in every direction. You scramble for cover, put some splatters on your right leg. I knew it. There's a sizzling sound, and you can smell your own flesh burning. The pain is excruciating, and you fight to stay conscious. Fortunately, the wound feels worse than it looks. You stare at the mutilated organ and admire the mess you've made. Time to get moving. It says to take one wound. Nice. If we would have cut into that big thing, it would just spilt all over us. And screwed. Even the dead things managed to hurt me. So we're moving on to 23. Yes. Prime rib. Sunlight seeps through a large cut in the beast's underbelly, illuminating the eel's massive rib cage. The bones of a great king eel can make great weapons. You can attempt to break off a rib, but they are impossibly strong, and you haven't much time. Physical challenge is 8. We roll d20. I have an additional to physical, so the chances are good, but my name is Nick, and I Nick roll constantly, but we're going to give it a try. Let's go. 11. All right. Succeed. You managed to break it off. Add the eel rib to your item inventory. Nice. So the eel rib, it said it can be thrown at a target for 2 action points. It'll inflict 2 wounds, no crit or miss roll, and then you have to discard after use. So it's a one-time use to deal 2 damage. And regardless, it will not miss. That's great. You move cautiously down the corridor as it begins to narrow. You can no longer stand up straight, and the light is fading. Something on the creature's ribcage catches your eye. As you move in to investigate, you notice what appears to be bite marks. The bites are not from any animal or scavenger. These marks are on the inside, as if something tried desperately to gnaw its way out. You reach out to touch the fresh wound when you hear something moving in the shadows nearby. Don't crawl into dead animals, it says. 24. So I'm going to add this to my inventory. So I'm going to use that one time. So to grab 24. That's my next card. Topaz and Citrine. Okay, so it's an encounter. So I'm going here. My action points do not reset at the start of the encounter. So character placement. Place Rangitaki in space 3. Pull cards 25 through 29. Should be the next ones. 25, 6, 7, 8, 9. My lord. Place card 29 on space 2. Oh, Jesus. It's a pulsing gland. Roll a d12 for placement of cards 25 and 26. 11. Looks like no cards can go here, here, here. So 25 is going on 11. The topaz eel. You are going on 12. Of course you are. If you roll a space in row 1, place it directly behind in row 2. Okay, not worried about that. So then you're going on to 12. The citrine eel. Oh man, is Ursula in town? I got both for eels here. Okay, if the eel heads are on spaces 6 through 10, they're not. Place the eel body cards directly behind respective heads. Otherwise, have them ready to enter play if and when the eel moves forward. So if the eel moves down, these will go out, so behind them, like that. But they're not in play yet because they're at the top of the board. Okay, special. The eel heads and body cards move together as one character. Eels can move into the front row, or can't move into the front row, okay? When an eel head is wounded and the body is also on the playfield, immediately move the eel back one space. When an eel body moves off the playfield, when an eel body moves off the playfield, it cannot be hit until it moves back onto the playfield. When you successfully attack an eel body, the wounds are doubled, and you're awarded 1 action point. Wounds to an eel head are normal damage, and no action points are awarded. Duration is 3 rounds. So we have to survive 3 rounds with these eels, and hopefully we can kill them. But they got a lot of health, 7 and 8. Okay. So when you deal damage, or when you defeat one, when eelhead is wounded. So when I wound an eelhead, it moves back 1 space. Okay. Got it. Pulsing gland. It's impassable. No LOS, so there's no line of sight through it. Pull card 30 before you begin the encounter. Okay. I'll do that in a moment. The citrine eel. Electrocute. If you are attacked by the citrine eel from a space directly in front of it, you are electrocuted and lose 1 action point on the next round. So don't be in front of the electric eel. Don't be in front. Topaz eel. Squishy. If you attack the topaz eel while adjacent, the attack inflicts an additional wound. Nice. Bite. If you are attacked by the topaz eel from a space directly in front of it, you take 1 additional wound. Okay. So electrocute loses an action point. You cause an additional wound from in front of you. So try not to get in front of them. And the bodies, just wounds are doubled when attacking an eel body. Gain 1 action point on each successful attack to the body. Okay, so I still deal damage to the eel if I attack its body, just it's doubled. Okay. All right. This is the pull card 30 before we begin. Under pressure. The dangling sac is starting to swell. Whatever toxic chemicals are inside, they look dangerously volatile. Maybe you could relieve some pressure. The pulsating gland has an ability to spray toxic fluids. To prevent this, you must puncture the gland during each of your turns. If you choose not to or fail to do so, you will need to roll a gland pressure chart at the end of your turn. The pulsing gland has an ability to spray toxic fluids. To prevent this from spraying, you must puncture the gland during each turn. Wow. If you choose not to or fail to do so, you will need to roll on the gland pressure chart. Okay. Yikes. Talents points cannot be used to influence the gland pressure chart roll. Okay. So physical challenge is 12. Requirement, I have to have line of sight. Costs 1 action point. If I am adjacent to the pulsing gland, there is no cost for the challenge. Okay. If I succeed, the gland remains stable. Don't roll on the pressure chart. If I fail, I roll on the pressure chart. Okay. So let's put you right here for now. So each turn, I have to attempt that. And it'll cost me 1 action point to attempt it, unless I am next to it. 12 is what I would need. Man. Okay. Here we go. So I'm starting off with 6 action points. They could each move. So that one can move 1. So it would move towards me, which is good. You move 2. Okay. Gland pressure chart. So you suffer 4 wounds. So 1 or 2. All characters suffer 3 wounds. All characters suffer 2. All characters suffer 1. Characters on spaces 1 through 10 suffer 1 wound. Characters on spaces 1 through 5 suffer 1 wound. Okay. Interesting. So that could work out to my benefit. All right, so I need to have line of sight to the pulsing gland. You would move over most likely to attack me, not down. Actually, 50-50, so I'm thinking I'm going to move 1 away. Because then it'll still be 50-50. So 1 away, costs 1. Attacking the gland costs 1. Attacking the eel costs 3. Okay, let's do that. All right. So first up, I'm going to use 1 to move 1 away. I'm going to use 3 to attack the eel. I roll my crit miss. I'm just using my dart shot, as is. 20, critical hit. Awesome. So it dealt you 2 damage. Okay, not bad. And I'm going to use 1 to attack do the pulsing gland. Physical challenge. I need a 12. 11. I will use an action point to. Oh no, I have a physical, so that is a 12. That 11 is a 12. Actually, something about rolling a natural 20. Wasn't there? I don't know. There's something in here. About rolling a natural 20. Not over there. What did that get? Crit miss. Oh no, I think it's a natural 1. Every attack. 220. What's that? Is there something about rolling a natural 1? Falls between. Where was that? Turns. Chain your turns. Turn chains. To succeed. Continue. I don't recall. Attacks. Right? Where were you? I swear there's something about rolling a natural 1 first. Rolling. Interesting. Where'd you go? Block. No. Traits. I might be crazy. Very interesting. Okay, yep, line of sight, got all that. Enemy's turn. That's an example I want. Wasn't the drink scenario? No way I'm crazy here. No freaking... Oh, there it is. Natural ones and action points. Whenever you roll a 1, it's referred to as a natural 1. You cannot use an action point or talent points to influence this roll. Rolling a 1 is considered a miss or fail during encounters. Whenever you roll a 20, it's known as a perfect roll. Pay attention to challenges that offer rewards for a perfect roll. There it is. Not crazy. See? Told you. All right. So either way, succeeded that. So the gland remains stable. I don't roll on the pressure chart. So we're good. Okay. I'm going to use my last action point to heal 1. Here we are. Okay. Now the eel is going to go. So first up is going to be the topaz eel. You have to move, you're going to move 2, so you're going to go 1. Oh, and you probably can't move over because of your body, I would imagine. Because they move together. So I assume it's just the 1. Right? Eel, you can move together as one character. Okay, yeah. So they cannot move over. They move their 1 and they can't attack anything. Okay? So now the citrine eel is going to move, potentially sideways or down. We have to roll. 7 will be even, 13 will be odd. 13. And you cannot attack either. Okay. That's 1 round. On to the next. All right, so now we have all 8 back. Let's see here. Can I get rid of the citrine eel? They're going to move down. So I could move 2 up to attack. 1, 2. To get next to it. Which doesn't necessarily do anything. 1, 2, 3, 4 would get me between them. I attack the body. Give me 1, 2, 3 would deal double the damage. But then I'm set up to be attacked by both of them, which I don't necessarily want. We have to make sure we do the pulsating gland anyway. So 1, 2. I could. Man. If you attack the topaz eel when adjacent, the attack inflicts an additional wound. So I could put, and that's going to do. Wounds are doubled on attacks the eel body. So if I'm next to it, everything's going to be it's an additional wound. So if I potentially do 3, I could potentially do 6 in 1 attack. Ooh. Do I risk that? Yeah, let's do it. I think 1, 2, 3, 4. Eesh. I won't have. I'll have 1 left to attempt this. Sure, let's do it. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, and 3 to attack the body. And we're going for a crit miss. 10 is not critical, but it deals 1, 2 for the additional one I'm next to him. Times 2 is 4. So it dealt you 4 damage, so you're halfway gone. I'll get an action point back, so I have 2. Now I can drop onto dodge. Or I can attempt Let me attempt the gland. Do the pressure? Yeah, let me attempt the gland pressure. All right, here we go. Here's 12. 13 plus 1 is 14, so that's good. That's secure. I'm going to use my other one to heal up to 3. Oh. Oh. Eel rib. Do I want to use that now? Oh, so whenever you take damage, right? When an eel head is wounded, and the body's also on the playfield, immediately move the eel back 1 space. Okay. Or I guess I didn't wound the... So do you go back 1 space now? Or because I didn't attack the head? That's an interesting question. So when an eel head, 5, is wounded and the body is also on the playfield, immediately move the eel back 1 space. When an eel body moves off the playfield, it cannot be hit until it moves back. Okay, yeah. I would imagine that would do that. You hit it, it's going to retract. That's what we're saying. It's not overly clear, but that's what makes sense to me. Does Citron eel not move 2 spots too? No, sorry. Citron only says 1, so it moves 1 spot. And then the body slides off, the eel moves up with the damage. Yep, that's what I just did exactly. I moved the eel up the one spot there with that damage. You are correct, sir. Catching up, don't you worry. It said on here, like, when the eel head takes damage, but technically the eel head always takes damage when you hit the body, so it's gonna recoil. Okay. So now it is the topaz eel goes first to attack me, so it's not gonna move because it's right next to me attack anyway. So bite, if you are attacked by the topaz eel from the space directly in front of it, which I'm not, I would take an additional wound. So they're just doing their normal one. So they're gonna roll their crit miss. 16, 4. 10, so regular, so 1 wound. And then the citrine eel will go next. And I'm not in front of it, so I'm not going to be electrocuted. If you're attacked by the citrine eel from a space directly in front, yep. And they have a 17, 3. Ooh, that is critical. So that's giving me 2. Boom, boom, down to 0. All right. That is the second round. Okay. So these are refreshing now. 8 action points. Topaz has 4 hits left. Citrine has 5. Obviously, I should go after the Topaz. So I'll deal an additional wound being next to it. So should I just attack him twice to try and kill him? I can't kill them both. I have the eel rib, which automatically deal 2 damage. But I don't know if I want to waste that on these guys. I can survive. Yeah, all right. So 1, 2, 3. And we are going to attack the topaz eel. Crit miss, here we go. 15, 16, or not 16, 15. So that's a regular hit. So that's 1 plus the additional for being next to it. And I'm going to go again. 1, 2, 3. Crit miss. 10. And that would be 1, 2. So the topaz eel is gone. Total of 8. No reward for beating the topaz eel, it appears. But they're not going to attack me, which is good. Okay, topaz eel down. I have 2 left. I'm going to put those on. Ooh, damn. Pulsing gland, ability to spray toxic fluid. Prevent this, you must puncture the gland during each of your turns. If you choose not to or fail to do so, you'll need to roll the gland pressure. I was going to dodge, but instead I'm going to use 1 to do my gland deal here. Oh. Holy shit. We are going to... Oh, nope, I failed. So it's not even a... Try again. Yeah, a Nick roll, count number 2. Okay. So now I have to roll for the gland chart. A 4, good. All characters suffer 3 wounds. Ooh. 1, 2, 3. It's 5, hilarious. And then I go 1, 2, 3. Yikes. That sucks. I'm going to use this to heal 1. Okay. And now it's a Citrine Eel's turn. Yeah, exactly. Count number 2. Citrine Eel's turn, so they need a 17 or 3. Or they need a 17 or higher. Come on. 1, 2, or 3. 17, of course. Son of a bitch. 1, 2. But that ends the encounter. Holy shit. I'm going to count that high roll also as a Nick roll because it is bad for me. So we're going to say that's Nick roll number 3. Okay, so you are down and out. Encounter is ended. So all my action points refresh. You'll definitely need to use to heal. I could have used my eel rib to deal the 2 wounds to kill it, but I don't want to waste the eel rib right now. Okay, if you survive, just barely, pull card 31. 31. Crustacean Cushion. In an attempt to retreat, you roll backwards, slamming into a wall of decaying eel carcass. It tears open, spilling you out into a bed of crabs and seagulls feeding on the foul, rotten meat. The good news is, you are now on the other side of the beach. Your plan worked. Sort of. Pulling crabs out of your hair, you quickly assess the situation. You spot a boat moored to a pile of rocks just offshore. However, you can see the trader's trail just past the dunes. Roll all 3 challenge dice. 13 and 11 and a straight up terrible... If at least 1 roll is 10 or higher, I gain a breadfruit. It is. If 2 or 15 or higher, 3 or 15 or higher, I gain a blah, blah, blah. So I just get another breadfruit. That's fine with me. Okay. If the citrine eel was killed, I would get a physical. It was not. The topaz eel was killed. I get a mental. Cool. They were color-coded, orange and blue. So I got 2 mental now. That's cool. If both were killed, I can pick either physical or mental. Okay. Add the dead eel event to my inventory. That's what gave me the mental. Cool. And then I get to go to the dunes, or I can go to the boat. I'm probably going to go to the boat, I would think. However, you can see a trader's trail. Maybe the dunes. Maybe go to the trader's trail. Yeah. I'm going to go to the trader's trail, which is going to be 59. So first I'm going to add this here. Yeah, I'm going for the dunes. Yep, I was doing the same thing. Go for the sandworm. What's the trader's trail? So I wonder, like, if I have the eel rib, if I can trade for something. Still, so typical RPG logic, you know. Okay, first I'm going to use both of my breadfruit. 3, 1, put me at 4. I'm going to use 2 of my action points to heal up to 3 here in the middle. And I'm not going to deal with the last one. Oh, this under pressure is gone also. Okay, so we're going to 59, I think it said. 59. So skipping all of these 30s, all of these 40s, all of that. 4, 5, 6, 7, 58, 59 is what I'm going with. Like I was saying, half this deck already, we have no idea what this is. Like, that's why Spire's End is so much fun. All of them function like this, to where like one path you take will avoid like entire half of the deck, or the way an encounter resolves may avoid an entire part of the deck as well. It's so much fun. It's crazy. And it plays pretty fast, which is nice. I think each chapter is, I don't know, what time is it right now? It's sometime 9:23. So been going for about an hour and a half, really playing for about an hour or so with the intro. Awesome. So 59, here we go. The race for the dunes. The pathway to the dunes is tucked between two fishing huts. Unfortunately, the beach is crawling with Ruki, and you won't make it far without being seen. Your eyes drift down the shark carcass worn by your fallen foe. The thought of wearing it makes your skin crawl. Disgusted, you wrestle the unruly headpiece out of the sand. There's an overpowering odor of seaweed and rotting flesh as you pull the shark carcass over your head and face. With your identity now hidden, you walk toward the fishing huts, careful not to make eye contact with anyone. As you approach one of the huts, a Ruki woman with one eye emerges with an armload of dried uku. You can't help but stare at the gaping hole where her eye used to rest. She mutters something to you under her breath. Your silence draws suspicion, and you notice her hand creeping toward a knife sheathed on her hip. Let's deal with her. It says I can keep walking or deal with her. I'm going to deal with her. Number 71. So skipping all of this and going to 71. Saved by the Spire. Ooh. You turn to face her, barely able to see from behind the oversized mask. The Ruki woman drops the fish basket and unsheathes the dagger, pointing it toward you. That's a hell mask. You're not a Kai, she says, grabbing the mask and ripping it from your head. You stumble backwards, reaching for the blowgun, but the Ruki woman was quick, and her blade is already at your throat. Your death is payment for his, she hisses. You close your eyes, awaiting an inevitable, when the woman suddenly stiffens and drops to the ground. An elderly fisherwoman yanks the harpoon from the back of her neck and helps you up. Before you can thank her, she bellows out a war cry and charges at a handful of Ruki warriors and have taken notice. You snatch the uku from the basket and head for the trail. Nice. Steal the uku. That will refresh an action point, right? Yeah. So tonight, hey Kim. Yeah, Steve is still in Japan. He's actually on right now. He's been watching. He's been at the airport just chilling. So I am doing a solo game. So I'm doing Spire's End, Rangitaki. It's been a lot of fun so far. Have you played any of the Spire's End games yourself? Do you have any of them? I love them. They're so much fun. I forget what the is it refresh or just gain an action point. Let me see here. Rulebook. Oh yeah. Gain 1 action point. It says gain 1. Doesn't say refresh 1. So that wouldn't make sense. That'd be too easy to. Maybe not. I have no idea. You have not. Yeah, it's there's 3 of them so far. There's Spire's End, which is the original one, which he has a bunch of micro expansions for now. There is Spire's End Hildegard, which came out I think 2 years ago, potentially at this point, which is completely different from this. There's no board with either of those. Hildegard, you're a woman, on this journey across this land of. I think your name is Hildegard. And this one you're playing is Rangitaki, who is from one of these 3 islands. They're warring islands, and this one there's cannibals and all this kind of stuff. And you have this board which has like a strategic battle element to it. I was trying to figure out here, the uku says you gain 1 action point when you use it. I was trying to see if that meant like I entirely gain 1, so I would be at 9, or if it's like refresh an action point. So I'm not entirely sure what that is. So, I have no idea. I wish it had some sort of reference in the back of this here that would tell you more specifically. So because it's not specific, I'm going to say that I get an action point. So I'm going to do that. So now I have 9. I will ask Favreau the ventures after this, because I can't use my phone right now. So I can't really send them any kind of message, and they're not on at the moment. How are the monsters defeat explained since they gave AP? They don't always give AP. So the eels didn't have anything on here. These ones have that swirl. So you got, you refreshed one. So it says gain 1 action point on each successful attack to the damn it. Same wording. So it's just refreshing one. All right. I assume that might be what you're alluding to, board. But on these other ones here, it's like during battle, it says, you know, the 3, gaining those 3. The thing is, though, your total action point reset is always at 8. So I assume if I had the full 8, the Yuku would have potentially given me a 9th to at least start the battle with. But then when it resets, I would go back down to 8. So because I used one, it just refreshed me to this. Actually, I'm not going to use that then. I'm going to hold on to the Yuku. I'm going to stay at 6. Okay, it's starting to make sense now. Shut up, board. Laugh at me. My goodness. CKM, even without him here, we still bicker. Anyway, what was I doing? All right, I got the Yuku. Not using it. I can see the gondola above. So it says to go to 76. Yeah, so Kim, the Spire's End, if you don't know, you have these stacks of cards, and there's like 3 chapters. So there's each of these stacks. Chapter 1 here, then 2 and 3 is in the box. And it's like a choose your own adventure, but instead of having an actual book you're going through, you have these cards. So all of these in my hand here, have no idea what these are. So far, we've gotten through this much, and this is the story that I've played so far in Chapter 1. All of this, I have no idea what it has to do with Chapter 1. And I'm about to bypass some more. So 72, 3, 4, and 5, I'm not going to see either. And I won't see until I decide to replay this game in its entirety, or I die and have to play this game in its entirety. And so, yes, board, this does have permadeath. If you die, you are supposed to start from the beginning of Chapter 1 all over again. You could start at the beginning of the chapter that you ended on, but it's kind of hard to keep track of what you had or didn't have, so it's better just to start from the very beginning. That's how it's supposed to be played. Okay. 76. Tukutu. You finally arrive at Tukutu Gondola. You've come here countless times since coming of age. All young adults are given permission to take the gondola off Makana to Coral Cove. This is an opportunity to trade, socialize, and if fortunate, meet with adventurers from distant lands. Your last visit was with your brother and sister before they set off to the mainland, recruited by the Seven, the realm's most formidable archers, and the servants to the Baroness of Seacrest. They embarked on a rare and coveted opportunity. Contact with the outside world is scarce, and such chances are even rarer. They were both eager to leave, and you haven't heard from either since. The lookout tower and merchant stand appear abandoned, and the gondola's absence is concerning. It's typically here at midday, laden with fresh fish and produce to be unloaded. So we can see, go up and look at the tower, or we can check the merchant stand. Kim, you said, yeah, I have kind of stopped getting campaign games. They take too much time investment. I have too many games I want to play. And I did just get my Mythwind expansion today, though. Yeah, so I went through and did a rulebook rundown for every single rulebook and the expansions in Mythwind, because we have ours as well. I'm going to see if I can get bored to play it with us on stream. If not, Bombastic and I absolutely will. Like, you were there when we were unboxing our all-in pledge. So those rulebook rundowns will be up on our YouTube channel when we can get those up. It's a good chunk of them. We're going to have the chapters separated in each piece. But very excited for Mythwind. It looks like a lot of fun. You said you only played as the farmer. I love how each person is its own puzzle, and I think that's what will sell Board into playing it for a minute, will be that it has the puzzle aspect to it. Yeah, exactly. But if you do, like, so Spire's End, while kind of a campaign, it's worth it. It plays so quickly. Like, I'm almost through chapter 1 right now, and I've been playing for about an hour and a half. I've been talking on stream and stuff. So it's solo. You can jump in and just play through your chapter, put it away, and then come back at any other time. Let's say there's 3 chapters, so really it'll take you maybe 4 total hours to play through the entire Spire's End Rangitaki. But then what's nice is you can go back and play it again at some other time, and you will probably have an entirely different adventure based on the decisions you make. But yeah, no, we're avoiding any newer campaign games ourselves as well. We have a few that are coming in. Odalin, that Board got. I backed Awakened Realms, newer one, a while back. Blanking on the name. Board, if you're there and if you know it, chime in. Or Kim, if you're aware of what it is, jump onto. Legacy of You is a fun solo campaign. I've been playing co-op with my husband. It's solo only, but I did. Ooh, I don't know what Legacy of You is. No, not Grim Coven. It's a newer one, where very RPG heavy. It was released around the same time as Lands of Evershade. There it is, Lands of Evershade. So that looks like it's going to be so much fun. No, not Story of Many either. Yeah, Lands of Evershade. Story of Many looks interesting too, though. That one completely missed my radar. But I probably still wouldn't have backed it just because I have Lands of Evershade coming at some point. We have Dragon Eclipse that we're going to be jumping into very shortly here. And then we started doing Vampire Masquerade with chapters with some of our other friends Saturday evenings too, as kind of our campaign game as the friend group. And we decided just to stream it anyway and just to get out. So we're busting through that because those ones play pretty quickly. Yeah. Yeah, Lands of Evershade is amazing. But Board and I are really excited to dive into Dragon Eclipse. That just, I mean, growing up with Pokemon, it's essentially Pokemon but dragons, and it's so cool. All right, so I think I'm going to check out the merchant stand, number 78. Let's see if there's anything behind that merchant stand. They usually have stuff. Are you gonna get your Dragon Eclipse pledge yet? Crazy. I guess America got it early, which is not a thing anymore. Like, every single game has been postponed to the US because of the craziness that's been going on here. So yeah, at least you're gonna get Dragon Eclipse and the rest of the games and stuff. So don't brag when you get everything else before us. All right, 78. Makana fades. The merchant stand is bare except for something tucked in the back. You take a quick look. Roll all 3 challenge dice. This is kind of a fun thing that they keep doing, where you roll all 3, and that'll dictate what reward you get based on the. Wow, that was absolutely terrible. Nick roll. Board, I think that counts as 4, 5, and 6. If at least 2 rolls are 10 or higher, they are not. If at least 3 rolls are 15 or higher, they are not. Okay. The familiar sounds of rhythmic clicks alert you to the gondola's arrival. The gondola comes to an abrupt stop, and the door flops open. Caius, one of the Tukatu custodians, cautiously exits. He spots you approaching. You Rangitaki? He questions. We've got to go before Rugi gets here. You dart up into the gondola. I didn't think you knew my name, you say. I didn't. Not until this morning. Caius pulls a lever, and the gondola quickly begins descent. You watch Makana fade away into the mists. Hopefully, not for the last time. And it says to proceed on to chapter 2, card number 88. So, cool. So all of these here, whatever 79, 80, 81, 82, and 86 are, we didn't see either. So we just went through all of chapter 1. Well, we went through chapter 1, got to the end of it, we survived, and did not see this entire stack, which is more than half. Like, we went through this here. We went through about, what's that, about a 1/4 of this? That's insane. That's so fun. Great job. That is probably where I'm going to call it quits. We'll got through chapter 1. That's a natural endpoint. What do we got here? Let's see. Not sure. U.S. got their crafting the Cosmos like 2 weeks ago. Yeah, we'll probably ship that well before that. I'll be bragging. You guys always get stuff before us. Okay, fair. And the only stuff I get first are Stonemeyer games because I live so close to the warehouse. Nice. Yeah, we don't. Stonemeyer, what is new? We never got Apiary. We haven't played Apiary yet. That's one we'll definitely have to check out at some point. Board, that's the B game, the like space bees. Yeah, no, Nick roll 4. That's Nick roll 4, 5, and 6. I'm gonna count all 3 of those as a Nick roll for sure. That was ridiculous. Cool. Well, thank you guys for joining. We don't know what we're gonna be doing for May's theme quite yet. I'll definitely try to find time to get Spire's End, Rangitaki back to the table to play 2 and 3. Again, maybe we can do for May, if I can convince Board to do a solo month, we can maybe do that weird solo tag team that we've been trying to do for a while, where we literally take turns in a solo game, and which is probably completely going to screw us because we can't really do campaign games easily enough. So doing that with a solo game in the way that we both think, and we're gonna have a rule where we can't say anything either. So we're like, lips are sealed, can't say anything. That person takes their turn, does what they do, and then the next one goes. That could be true. We have plenty of quick solo games to do that with. So we will see. But yeah, we have so much that we can dig into, and so much more coming. And I'm sure Board has Pillars of Heracles, back home when he gets home, that we have to do an unboxing and all that stuff for you. But I love Spire's End Rangitaki. It's great. Very creative. Each one's very different. The way the dice are used in each game are entirely different. The first one was more puzzly with the dice. The second one, you were rolling to create targets. Like you had little symbols on there. They were making a target symbol. That's how you got your successes. And there was fishing and I think the second one as well, to try and catch fish to help yourself out. This one is definitely heavy on, more of the fighting to survive situation here. So far, it's been a healthy balance of challenge, but not so challenging to where it's disheartening. Like the early Tainted Grails were super disheartening. What? Yes, I said Pillars of Heracles. Oh, no, you answered. Sorry. Aeon's Trespass Odyssey? No, sorry. I thought Board was telling me no. Pillars of Heracles. Yeah, Pillars of Heracles I think it's more like a war game. Aeon's Trespass, though, is another campaign one that I never grabbed, but man, does it look interesting and right up my alley. So maybe at some point down the road, when we don't have all the other ones we're doing, we'll look into snagging that. ATO, what's ATO? What's ATO? Something I was just talking about? Oh, Aeon's Trespass Odyssey. Jesus, just talking about it. Nice. Yeah, let us know how it is. It looks awesome. Thank you, Kim. Sorry, a little slow. It's been a long day. All right. Well, I'm going to let you both go. Appreciate you joining and jumping in. Thank you, Kim, for coming at the last second. Thank you, Board, for joining in on the stream from the Japanese airport. And I will see you when you get back. Hopefully Saturday we can do some Isofarian Guard, but we'll see how your brain is feeling.
Is that Steve?
Yeah, it's we have Kim and we have Steve on. Say hello to Bombastic, everybody.
Hello. Happy birthday.
Board? We already said his name. It's fine.
Happy birthday, Board. Aren't you flying now?
Kim said hi.
Hi.
No, not flying now.
Oh.
He's at the airport. He's been waiting.
You're playing. You're waiting in your Delta One lounge.
Oh, probably.
Yeah. Board is bougie. That should be his name.
Yeah, he says his birthday is not for 363 days.
Oh my god.
Because it just happened. Still in. Oh no, the play hasn't started yet. She just did a rehearsal. She just finished it.
Are you asking about my play?
Yeah, because we were talking about when we were on. I think probably on stream last time doing the unboxing for Mythwind.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We had rehearsal today, went really good, and tickets went on sale today. That was his first day,
Yeah.
and I just checked. Tickets are sold so far.
Nice. Congratulations. Awesome. Yeah, the play, Kim, starts in June. That's when that'll be up and going.
Yeah. All right. I didn't mean to.
Oh, she's at break. Okay. Anyway, we're going to be signing off here. So thank you for joining us here, or joining me here at Bald and Board Games. I played through Spire's End, Rangitaki, or however you pronounce it. I hope you enjoyed your time, but I will see you on the island.